I'm Alisa Salsabila. I'm the first speakers of 10 speakers in this group. So first, I will to talk red line topic our group we will present. So we have two main idea. First is pandemic and the second is study at home. Our group we will continue to 4 subtopic of pandemic. First is definition of pandemic and the second is history pandemic in this world. Third is coronavirus disease and fourth is how to survive a pandemic of COVID. And our group have 3 subtopic of study at home. First is definition of study, I mean the real meaning of study. Second is how to study at home effectively. And third is tips and tricks become effective to study at home. And at the end of our presentation, we have 3 extra subtopic with connected of the main topic. First is how to survive stress of quarantine, and second is how to get productive during quarantine, and the last is 7 or more things we have to do at home. Okay, let's get started. What is a pandemic? Pandemics arise from epidemics, which are outbreaks of disease confined to one part of the world, such as a single country. Pandemics, especially those involving influenza, sometimes occur in waves, so that a post-pandemic phase, marked by decreased disease activity, may be followed by another period of high disease prevalence. Pandemics, outbreaks of infectious disease that occurs over a wide geographical area and that is of high prevalence. Generally effective of significant proportion of the world's population, usually over the course of several months or maybe a year. So, pandemics are generally classified as epidemic first, which is the rapid spread of disease across a particular region to regions. What causes of a pandemic? Pandemics can be caused by several factors. For example, in some cases, a new strain or subtype of virus that first emerged in animal jumps to human and then becomes readily transmissible between humans. In other instances, an existing disease causing agent mutates, increasing its infectiousness. Before I talk about 6 phases of pandemic, we have to know who is WHO? WHO is World Health Organization and is for closely monitoring the behavior of the infectious agent and the activity and the spread of the disease. WHO constantly monitors disease activity on global scale through a network of surveillance centers located in countries worldwide. Okay, let's get started to talk 6 phases of pandemics. 6 phases of pandemic alert has organized a pandemic preparedness plan that consists by WHO. 6 phases of pandemic alert has organized a pandemic preparedness plan that consists by WHO. 6 phases of pandemic outline as follow. Phase 1. The lowest level of pandemic alert indicated that an influenza virus either newly emerged or previously existing in circulating among animals. The risk of transmission to human is low. Phase 2. Isolated incidents of animals to human transmission of the virus are observed, indicating that the virus has pandemic potential. Phase 3. Characterized by small outbreaks of disease, generally resulting from multiple cases of animal to human transmission. Too limited capacity for human to human transmission may be present. Phase 4. Confirmed human to human viral transmission that causes sustained disease in human communities. At this stage, containment of the virus is not necessarily inevitable. The implementation of control methods to prevent further viral spread is emphasized in affected parts of the world. Phase 5. Marked by human to human. disease transmission in 2 countries, indicating that the pandemic is imminent and execution of strategies to control of the disease must be carried out with a sense of urgency. Part 6. Characterized by widespread and sustained disease transmission among humans. Okay, here I am at the end of a pandemic topic. I have to talk about how do pandemic end. Some pandemic, however, occur in a wave, such that decreased disease activity may be followed by another period of high disease prevalence, thereby prolonging the outbreak. Pandemics typically slow and come to an end on their own. Through the process may be accelerated through effective preventive strategies, such as improved personal hygiene or the development of vaccine. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Sylvia Hernanda from Group 8. Let me tell you guys about history pandemics in the world. Here's how 5 of the world's worst pandemic finally ended. There is a plague of Justinian, none left today. 3 of the deadliest pandemics in record history were caused by a single bacteria, Yersinia pestis, a fatal infection otherwise known as a plague. The plague of Justinian arrived in Constantinople, the capital of the Byzantine Empire, in 541 CE. It was carried over the Mediterranean Sea from Egypt, a recently conquered land paying tribute to Emperor Justinian in Grain. Plague-ridden flesh hitched a ride on the black rats the snake on the grain. The plague decimated Constantinople and spread like wildfire across Europe, Asia, North Africa, and Arabia, killing an estimated 30 to 50 million people, perhaps half of the world's population. Second is Black Death, the invention of quarantine. The plague never really went away, and when it returned 800 years later, it killed with reckless abandon. The Black Death, which hit Europe in 1347, claimed an astonishing 200 million lives in just 4 years. As for how to stop the disease, people still have no scientific understanding of contagion, says Mockaitis, but they knew that it had something to do with proximity. That's why forward-thinking officials in Venetian controlled port city of Ragusa decided to keep newly arrived sailors in isolation until they could prove they weren't sick. Third is the Great Plague of London, sealing up the sea. London never really caught a break after the Black Death. The plague resurfaced roughly every 10 years from 1348 to 1665, outbreaks in just over 300 years, and with each new plague epidemic, 20% of the men, women, and children living in British capital were killed. By the early 1500s, England imposed the first laws to separate and isolate the sick. Homes stricken by plague were marked with a bale of hay strung to a pole outside. If you had infected family members, you had to carry a white pole when you went out in public. Cats and dogs were believed to carry the disease, so there was a wholesale massacre of hundreds of thousands of animals. It may have been the only way to bring the last great plague outbreak to an end. Fourth is a smallpox. A European disease ravaged the New World. Smallpox was epidemic to Europe, Asia, and Arabia for countries. A persistent menace that killed 3 out of 10 people it infected and left the rest with pock-marked scars. But the death rate in the Old World paled in comparison to the devastation worked on native populations in the New World when the smallpox virus arrived in the 15th century with the first European explorers. Centuries later, smallpox became the first virus epidemic to be ended by a vaccine. In the late 18th century, a British doctor named Edward Jenner discovered the milk mites infected with a milder virus called cowpox seems immune to smallpox. Jenner famously inculcated his gardener's 9-year-old son with cowpox and then exposed him to the smallpox virus with no ill effect. The last is cholera, a victory for public health research. In the early to mid-19th century, cholera tore through inland, killing tens of thousands. The prevailing scientific theory of the day said that the disease was spread by foul air, known as a miasma. But a British doctor named John Snow suspected that the mysterious disease, which killed its victim within days of the first symptoms, lurked in London's drinking water. Snow acted like a scientific Sherlock Holmes, investigation hospital records and marked reports to track the precise locations of deadly outbreaks. Snow's work didn't cure cholera overnight, but it eventually led to a global effort to improve urban sanitation and protect drinking water from contamination.
Hello, my name is Siti Munaro, Group A. I will explain what is the COVID-19 and it cause. What is COVID-19? COVID-19 is an mutation of the disease caused by a virus from the coronavirus class, namely SARS-CoV-2. Is also often called the coronavirus. Coronavirus is a large family virus that causes disease in human and animal. In human, cause respiratory infection from the cold to serious at respiratory syndrome and severe acute of coronavirus that discovered in human since the outbreak in Wuhan, China in December 2019 was then named severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus 2 and causes coronavirus disease 2019. Symptoms of COVID-19. Number 1. Loss of taste and smell. One of symptoms the effect in my sick fever is the loss of the ability to taste and smell. This symptom can vary as late as to die after external. Number 2. Difficulty breathing. Symptoms of COVID-19 the serious difficulty breathing can be a sign of acute respiratory disease syndrome which can be fatal. This is not system that requires immediate medical. Number 2. Fatigue. Fatigue is one of the early symptoms of COVID-19. The problem is the symptom can persist or with. Number 4. Skin rise. According to the COVID-19 symptom study, up to 20% of diagnosed with COVID-19 report symptoms of skin scan. Cause 1. A person can accidentally injure the software that turn out when a person with COVID-19 cough or sneeze. Number 2. Hot the mouth or not with you washing hands first after touching on object that has been received with the severe version of COVID-19. Number 3. Close contact with COVID-19. Transmission of COVID-19 is virus origin. of China. It is proven to travel long distance, can cause fever, animal malnutrition when without count and smell. This virus will attack a part of the lung and cause irritation.
Hi guys, my name is Dewi Kristiawan from Group 8. I will inform to you guys about my opinion how we have to survive ourselves from COVID-19. First is stop the spread. Fortunately, most the advice for what everyone can do to help contain the virus is very basic. The first is stop shaking hands. The second is stop touching your face. The third is wash your hands often for at least 20 seconds with soap and water. The fourth is use hand sanitizer that contains 17% or more alcohol. If you cannot wash your hands. The fifth, avoid groups of the people. The sixth is stay about 6 feet away from others. The seventh is don't go to mass event. The eighth is disinfect surface that someone with a virus might have touched and or chewed or sneezed on. The ninth is cover your own mouth and sneeze after you throw a tissue away. Wash your hands. And last but not least, if you are sick, don't give it to others. Isolate yourself. If you are ill, mask is very helpful to keep your respiratory droplets in and prevent the spread. Someone providing care for your benefit from wearing one. As for that handshake, just don't forgo the hug too, or you can bow, nod, smile, or wave. Health and government officials are taking steps to limit the spread of the virus, from restricting large gatherings and putting schools on soft closure, to putting restrictions on restaurants and bars to prevent people congregating close together. The second is supplies for quarantine. Water, toilets, paper, and hand sanitizer were flying off the shelves at stores across America as people prepared for the possibility for quarantine during the pandemic. Things have stabilized a little and stores assure customers there's not started. Those basic supplies will continue to be available, but they have typically had to put limits on how many customers can buy, so all who need them can get some. Supply and demand are expected to be more balanced soon. You shouldn't prepare the same as you would for an earthquake or a tornado. Utilities will function fine. Electricity, portable water, and natural gas, you have all that. So set those aside and focus the things that are really applicable in this circumstance, things you might need because you shouldn't leave your home. Nicholas Room, spokesman from the Salt Lake County Health Department, told the Desert News. The CDC says to call the members of your household together and formulate a plan, including how you will care for each other if one of you becomes ill. Those who live alone should talk to those close to them about how to take care for each other. The household plan suggestions include getting to know neighbors, figuring out where to get outside help, and making up an emergency contact list. The first, supplies. The second, food. The third, respiration medicines. The fourth, cleaning supplies. The fifth, hand sanitizer. The sixth, baby supplies. The seventh, pet supplies.
Hello, my name is Mita Dwi Ariska. I am from Group H. Definition study is a process or effort made by each individual to get a change in behavior, both in the form of knowledge, skill, attitude, and positive value as an experience of various material that have been studied. The definition of study can also be interpreted as a psychological activities carried out by each individual so that their behavior differs between before and after learning. Change in behavior or responses due to new experiences, having knowledge after learning, and practicing activities. In general, there are 3 study objectives, that is, 1. To acquire knowledge, 2. Instilling concept and skill, and 3. Shaping attitude. There are at least 8 types of study carried out by humans. The several types of learning are as follows. 1. Learn to be a rational. 2. Study abstract. 3. Learn skill. 4. Learn social. 5. Learn habit. 6. Learn problem solving. 7. Learn appreciation. 8. Learn knowledge. During this pandemic, all students are required to study at home, and their how to study at home effectively.
My name is Inyang Supriyani. Today I would like to talk about using time management to improve study skill. To achieve academic success, you must carefully manage your study time on daily, weekly, and semester basis. The following is a time management strategy for doing that exactly. Step 1. Prepare your turn calendar. Your turn calendar can look like a regular monthly calendar, or it can employ a different format. Whichever format you choose, your turn calendar should outline the following: assignment with their due date, tests with their date, all school activity, all out of school and extracurricular activity. Step 2. Prepare your weekly schedule.
To prepare your weekly schedule, do the following. Write down on your calendar each class you have for each day of the week. Take a look at your turn calendar and write down on your weekly calendar items that need to be complete or are occurring that week. Go back and review all school class notes and your schedule. Add to your weekly schedule any out-of-school and extracurricular activity. Note down the day and time for each assignment and study. Step 3. Prepare your daily schedule. To prepare your daily schedule, do the following. Cut down everything from your weekly schedule that you need to do for the coming day. Write down everything from your previous daily schedule that was not complete and needs to be complete the next day. Check your daily schedule for the current day to see if there are any other school activity that you need to include for the following day. Include any other activity from your weekly schedule that need to be included in your next day's schedule.
Hi guys, my name is Balagis Anghusna from Group 8. I want to explain about how to study at home effectively. Working and studying is needed to slow the spread of the coronavirus and keep us safe. But how can you do that without going crazy? So here are the few tips. First, create a study schedule. Set a time to log into your online classes each day. Use an alarm, a reminder, whatever works for you. Proper time management is essential. You may have some regular lecture times you need to attend, but you should also make time on your own for review. This is especially important if you are required to review some of the course materials on your own. Second, use calendars, post-it notes, and reminders. Online learning needs structure. Create a study calendar that will help you remember all the important exam dates or deadlines for submitting your assignments. You have saved your calendar on your computer or your mobile device. You can even create a wall planner if you are a more of visual type of person, which you can mark up and check every time you study. The third is take advantage of productivity apps. We live in the digital age. Whatever you need to do, there is probably an app that can either do it for you or make it a lot easier. These fantastic productivity extensions and applications make studying or working less of a hassle. They can help you to track your progress, organize tasks, set reminders, or make other apps work the way you want. There are numerous productivity apps out there. Here are only a few examples like Zoom, Google Classroom, Google Drive, OneDrive, Dropbox, and etc. Fourth, create a dedicated study space. Create a place that you can only associate with studying or working. It will help you to get into a productive state easier. Although it's tempting, this shouldn't be your bed or sofa. A simple table and a comfortable chair can make the cut. Find the spot in your home that has the perfect lighting and enjoy the sun. Don't forget to personalize the study place. Add plants, pictures, or motivational quotes if it's your thing. The last but not least, dance like nobody's watching literally. Sometimes, working or attending online courses from home can trick you into staying in front of the computer for hours. Make sure you are staying as healthy and active as you can. You can use breaks to find activities that really motivate you to get moving. It doesn't have to be a boring workout routine. Simply play that favorite uplifting song, dance like nobody's watching literally, since we are all keeping a social distance. See, studying from home doesn't have to be boring or complicated. You can combine my suggestion with your own tips and tricks and create a schedule that will help make even the most productive entrepreneur jealous. Remember to take regular breaks and use your free time for the things that make you smile and lift your mood. It can be anything from cooking, playing video games, you name it. There are a lot of things you can do during the quarantine, so make this an excellent time for your development on all levels.
Hello, my name is Selvi Nur Yulianti from Group 8. To survive stress during quarantine, what you can do to cope stress? 1. Stop watching, reading, or listening to news about COVID-19, including those calculating on social media. Spending too much time reading up about the pandemic can be upsetting. 2. Take care of your physical health. Take deep breaths, exercise, meditate, eat healthy, well-balanced meals, get sufficient rest, and avoid consumption of alcohol. 3. Take time to unwind, focus on doing activity you enjoy. 4. Connect with others by talking to people you trust about your concern and how you are feeling. 5. Share facts about COVID-19 and understand the real risk to yourself and your loved one, as this can make the situation less stressful. Is reflection from the adults around them. If you or your caregivers manage a situation calmly and confidently, you can provide the best support for your children. What you can do to ease the stress for children. A. Always reassure your children that they are safe and that it's normal to feel upset at times. B. Talk to them about how you deal with your own stress so that they can learn from you. C. Reduce your family exposure to news coverage of the current event, including social media. Children can misinterpret what they see or hear and become frustrated about things they do not fully understand. D. Try to maintain daily routines. Set a schedule for learning and fun activity. Most importantly, be a role model to your children. Take breaks, get sufficient rest, exercise, and eat well. Connect with your friends and your family members. For people who have been through quarantine, being in isolation can be stressful even if you do not get sick or test positive for COVID-19. However, everyone reacts differently when coming out or quarantine too. Some of the feelings may include 1. Having mixed emotions that include relief. 2. Fear and concern about your own health and the well-being of your loved ones. 3. Stress from the experience or monitoring yourself or being monitored by others for signs and symbol of COVID-19.
Hi, my name is Herdianti Eka Putri. I want to tell you about how to get productive during quarantine. One of the biggest struggle people are having while being quarantine is staying productive. Because your days may be stuck behind those four walls for a bit, we are taking a look at some tips to help improve your productivity. Number 1. Create a flexible schedule. The key word here is flexible. If you are not a morning person, more than likely this quarantine isn't going to magically turn you into one. So, create a schedule that is actually reasonable for your lifestyle. Be realistic about your tasks, and if you feel like you are being drained by the end of the day, try to space the things out. One of the aspects about this pandemic is how emotionally and mentally draining it can be on an individual. If you feel like you need a break from things for a while, do that. But try to be productive about those decisions. Number 2. prioritize your to-do list. This may be an obvious one, but try to choose the text based on what has to get done that day. If you can, try to pair activities together. Now, that's not saying you should try your new workout routine while learning how to cook. But if you have to do some work on the computer, why not do your laundry at the same time? Things you can pair are tasks that can be paused if one of them needs to take priority. Number 3. Know when to take a break. This doesn't mean you should be sitting watching an entire season of The Office. What it does mean is to recognize your sign of exhaustion. If you have the ability to, go for a walk or step outside for 10 minutes. If you are unable to leave your house at this time, try to do some stretch or schedule quick phone calls with friends when you need a break from work.
Hello, my name is Melina Maharani from Group 8. Here, I want to tell you about 7 things you have to do at home. Just at home make us feel bored, but there are some productive things we can do. Among them, one is gardening. The first productive thing is gardening. You can start by watering the plants or by cultivating new plants. This activity is very useful so that the house looks fresh and of course reduce stress as well. 2. House cleaning room. The second productive thing is to clean the house. Well, you can clean the living room, bathroom, or family room. Cleaning the house can also keep your body away from bacteria that roam the house, so that you and your family are healthier and don't get sick easily. 3 is cooking or learning to cook. Cooking is one of the activities that can generate profit cover if done seriously. Cooking is fun. It can be a stress reliever too if you are under pressure. 2. Foreign language. Learning a language is a very good activity to have your brain to keep it sharp and function optimally. If you don't have enough money from course, you can study via the internet. 5 is take care of pets. Pets should be treated as part of your family because if the pet is sick, it can be transmitted to the human inhabitants of the house. You can also play with pet. Play with pet is reduce stress. 6 is selling online. This is the most profitable thing and make us productive. Having a gadget and social media account are really good for selling. You don't have to big capital if you want to sell. Use goods are finished, but take a look too. If it used and moldy, don't sell it. 7 is writing or blogging. This is something you can only do with gadgets. You don't have to use a laptop. A smartphone is enough. Writing is not about talent but willpower. Everyone who can compose words can write. Start with simple things. No need to write heavy like politics or philosophy, unless you really have an interest. Writing is also useful for continuing to have our brains to think so they don't slow down and decrease in function. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoy this video. Thank you guys.